Look at this, guys. So we were here earlier this morning for sunrise, and I've come back again later in the day. And check this out. So for the first time in history, in August, it's been raining in Uzbekistan. Like, it's just nuts. These thunder clouds up here, they keep rumbling thunder, and there's been like a bit of on and off rain. So this is very odd weather for here. But check this place out. So I've come back and look at it. Yeah, so as I was saying this morning, this here is the Registan, which means sandy place. This used to be a big market area here. This is the first one that was built. These are madrasas, the places of learning, for learning of their Islamic faith and learning of things like astrology and mathematics, which used to happen in sort of these little side rooms. And then they have the mosques, like this big blue dome in the back here. There's a mosque, and each one has its own mosque area. So sandy place. Why so? Well, this was an important trading town in the Silk Road, and so this here didn't used to be here. This is the newest one. Got built sometime in the 1600s, but this used to be a big caravanserai. If you can imagine, back in the day, traders coming all the way from China, Persia, their camels and things like that, and things to trade. Caravansaries is where they'd like tie up for the night and they'd find accommodation. And this would have been a big market square, all undercover. You can imagine, like tarps and things like that, and all just trading all spices and silks and all sorts of oddities from around the world. Then about 200 odd years after this one was built, this one here got built, and it's built in exactly pretty much the same style. I wanted it to mirror image the one over here, with the exception that up the top here there's lions. I don't know if you can see it too well. They actually look like tigers because they got stripes on them, but they're meant to represent lions. And you can see there's a bit of a mane going on there. So this one here is kind of known as the Lion Madrasa. Interestingly, which I didn't know about, this is kind of flaunting Islamic law. Apparently they're not allowed to depict any living creatures, like in a picture or a painting, or I don't know, something like that. So this is quite an oddity of more ancient Islam, having lions depicted here and animals depicted. So, without windy, hey, this weather's bringing in some wind. Without further ado, let's go and check out what the inside of an ancient, what is this, 15th century madrasa looks like. Come in through into the central courtyard of the oldest one, the Ulugbek Madrasa. That's not a doorway, that's a pile of chairs. You have to come through some tacky souvenir stalls, but then you get in here into the central courtyard area, and in here try to think of these areas as like a Buddhist monastery, where the young monks would go and they'd learn about Buddhism. They'd be given accommodation, food, and there's also like learning outside of their faith. It would be whatever they were learning, whatever was on their curriculum. Here was mathematics and astrology was pretty high on their curriculum, and they would live and they'd stay here and they'd pray, they'd learn Islamic faith. So what I was not expecting when walking in here, I was expecting like a domed ceramic glazed roof, kind of similar to the entrance and similar to the Shah Izinda. But look at this, that's all wood. It's like well, it's like being in a monastery, except they've gone with some lovely hues of blue here. Again, they've gone with my favourite green tiles for a bathroom or splashback, and it's essentially the Ulugbek main area. This is like a museum piece of its history, so I'm not going to bore you too much with that. I'm going to have a wander around here. Check in a little bit later, will we? I like this because this is a true depiction of miniature astronomers at work. These are life-size. These astronomers were only 2 inches tall. Hey, it says it, they were miniature astronomers. Wow, there was whole teams of like astronomer smurfs. So in here, because these buildings are a square shape, they tend to have 4 corners. It's true. This is one of them, and in the corners is where, these were the different classrooms. So this one here was, this display is dedicated to astrology, which is very important here. Ulugbek, the grandson of Timur, he was a very important astrologer. You know, he made a lot of discoveries. So this here is where Ulugbek would have taught astrology. Astrology? Astronomy? I never know the difference. Is there a difference? Surely there's got to be. Anyway, this was essentially a classroom. So, you know, he would have been standing here in the middle talking to his students. Well, I made my way upstairs because there was a sign saying coffee. So I can get myself a little coffee here. So we'll have a little look around. Oh look, this is a great little place to stop for a coffee or a tea. Assalamu alaikum. Alaikum salam. Now, I'm gonna chuck a wild guess out there that all these rooms up here, they would have been dormitory rooms for the students. Yeah, it's okay. You can just make things up occasionally. Just chuck a random guess out there. Every now and then you might be correct. What do you think of my traditional? So, this is our traditional hats here. We got a few different colours, shades. I've chosen to go with a, I don't know, sandy blonde. What do you reckon? For winter time, this would be a winter hat, yeah? Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't want to wear this in summer, but, or would you? I think this is an all seasons hat. This is fantastic, right on. Okay guys, this is my new look. So I got explained to me a little bit better what this is actually for. It wasn't a winter hat. So if you were heading across to, like, let's say Persia or Afghanistan, and you were on a camel and you'd come through the caravanserai, this was to keep the dust out of your eyes. So you would have this down like this, and you'd be sitting on the back of your camel, just doing some camel stuff, and as the dust storms of the the Turkestan deserts whipped up, you would be protected. You could still see, kind of. So, like he was saying, this is not cowboy, this is Uzbek boy. So, legend. Man, okay, so this was a camel rider's hat. Good stuff. Okay. So I've got myself a little Turkish coffee actually. Uzbek cat. Hey Uzbek cat. Hello.
Hello.
Hey buddy. Well, isn't this nice? Just a camel rider's hat. An Uzbek cat. A camel rider's hat. An Uzbek cat. It's on flat on the mat. So just having a little coffee and just chilling out, looking out over this ancient madrasa. Sometimes it's just worthwhile to kick back and smell the roses, as it were. Right now it's quite an odd moment for a little Aussie in Uzbekistan, because it's just started pissing down with rain. It's been threatening thunder and all the rest of it, but now it's really starting to come down quite heavy. In August, in the middle of summer, raining in the deserts of Uzbekistan. Look at this, really starting to come down. Wow. Is there anything better than the smell of fresh summer rain? Maybe freshly cut grass? So this is the Lion Madrasa, which was built a bit over 200 years after the Ulugh one. So this was built in the 1600s. This is the central courtyard. It doesn't have like the established grassy zones, but anyway, this is nice, isn't it? I was correct, by the way, when I was having my little coffee, in between having coffees and wearing Camellias hats, chatting to old mate, and yeah, these side rooms were the dormitories for the students that were here to learn. Some of them are bigger than others, held anywhere between 4 and 2 people, depending on the size of their room. Right, here's a couple of students and their teacher. They're real people, they're just very, very still. This is one of their sort of dorm rooms, so when you think of like they were sleeping in a, I don't know, a hostel dorm, getting on the piss. No, they doubled as like learning areas as well, and they would sleep on mats on the ground, and they'd keep their books and things like that in these little side alcoves. They could plug their phones into the PowerPoints, and yeah, they have their learning time in here and their sleeping time. Now, when I mention a caravanserai, a lot of you are probably like, oh, what's a caravanserai? Here's a pretty good photo of an old caravanserai. So there were places to rest your animals, get them watered and fed, and you would, as a trader, you'd pay to stay in a caravanserai. You can see the horses getting some food here, and then up the top here you can see these little beds where you would rest yourself, because you've just trekked across the vast deserts or the Silk Road. So it was a place of, I guess, rest and then trade. So you would rest yourself, your animals, and then usually near a caravanserai would be a market area where you would sell whatever you were taking across the planet. So yeah, this would have been very similar, if not the one that was out here. You can see in this photo here, so these are the markets. You can see the little market stalls, the little shade tents. The caravanserai would have been just over here, and the animals would be resting. They'd wake up in the morning and they'd, I don't know, just set up a little stall and sell their stuff, and then try to move on to the next trading town on the Silk Road. This is kind of a bit more what I was hoping to maybe see here. I'm not at all disappointed in Samarkand, but I'm finding it to be a very polished, Disney-fied version of an old Silk Road trading town. It's a money-making thing now for them. So I look at things like this and go, well, that's what I want to feel. I want to feel the hustle and bustle of an ancient Silk Road town. Yeah, and there's places around the world where you can get that. Kashgar in China was like that. Even Marrakesh, or places in Morocco you can go to into the central bazaar, and they're still hustling, bustling, and nothing feels like it's changed in centuries. This here is a very, it's a polished product now. This is a traditional burqa. And we all remember why women had to be veiled, don't we? That one little kiss sealed the fate of Islamic women. And this is the newest madrasa. They're doing some work up here, restoration work on the mosaics. and this is where the caravanserai would have once been. Potentially this tree here, the tree that was in the photo of the caravanserai, maybe this was it. This would have been where they tied up the mules and the camels before heading off into the central market square, the central square, to trade their goods. So this one here being the newest madrasa, 1660. This here is its mosque. This is the Tilakari. Oh God, I had it memorized and then I screwed it up, didn't I? We'll get there. Tilakari, I got it right. The Tilakari Mosque, which means gold covered. Wow. Look at that. You know, this isn't just gold paint. This is gold, or gold leaf. This is incredible. Look all the way around it. Yeah. Feels like gold. Oozes with opulence. Look at that ceiling. Wow, all the gold leaf that is, well, and there's leaves. I'm guessing this is the central prayer area, and this whole thing here is pretty much all gold. Look at that, it's amazing. Okay, I'm sitting in the lovely courtyard here. I thought I'd share my musings of what I feel about the Registan and what I feel a little bit about Samarkand. This place is architecturally exceptionally important. It's beautiful. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And it's a place very much worthwhile coming to. But it's a place that I feel, here's probably the point, I don't feel anything when I come here. They have polished this to such a shiny veneer that it no longer has a soul. That's my feelings anyway. It's turned into something, a product for sale. You've got to make your way around these rooms, past souvenir stalls. It's just one giant souvenir stall essentially, like with a few small museum pieces chucked in there. I think that historical societies and governments have a responsibility to preserve and restore very important places like this, which they're doing right now up here. But they've also got to strike a balance on making the place, not scrubbing away the soul of it. And I think they've scrubbed away the soul of Samarkand, especially of the Registan. It's a hard, I don't like saying that because I love this place. Aesthetically, it is so pleasing. My soul feels nothing walking around here. I'm not getting any cultural interaction here. What I am getting here, okay, this one goes out to the parents out there. It is not acceptable. This is a pretty damn important mosque here. If your kid if you've bought your kid, because your kid hasn't bought it, you've bought it for them, some annoying, like, whistling contraption, a recorder or something like that, and you let them roam around seeing how they can test their lungs on their new purchased toy in something that for the rest of them, they don't give a flying rat's tit that they're here. They're there to make noises in their stupid whistling things. I've come here to try to feel a place that traditionally would have been a quiet place of religion and learning. Now all I'm doing is trying to avoid children and their whistling devices. If you've bought them this, the rest of us don't want to hear it, and it's up to you parents to stop that from bloody happening. Like, where is your respect for my time here? Just because it makes your life easier. Here's a whistling toy. Now don't annoy me while you're annoying everybody else here. I sound like a grumpy old man. Yeah. Anyway, look, this place is beautiful. It is well worth coming to see. But there's places that I have gone to that I've felt a lot more cultural connection to than this. This is a product for sale.